When your best friend's doctor pulls you into a private room to tell you that they may not make it, it's a tough pill to swallow. It just so happens that my best friend is my dog, and her doctor was the vet. For a little over 3 years now, she's battled pancreatitis. She had symptoms that included vomiting, diarrhea, bloody stool, lethargia, lack of thirst and appetite. So I took her to the vet, and they did blood work, and it showed that it was her pancreas. So I had questions. What is pancreatitis? What causes it? How do you fight it? Those are the questions I need answered, and I'm going to answer them for you today. This is a video of her with lethargia. She's got a cone on her head because they sent her home with the IV in her arm so she could go back the next day. She wasn't interested in anything at all. She just lay there. It was so sad. I hated it. So firstly, by definition, what is pancreatitis? According to PetMD's Dr. Heidi Koch Barber, it is an inflammatory reaction within the pancreas that can result in abdominal pain, inappetence, and vomiting. My vet indicated that there was also a high chance of death. That happens with a lot of patients. Now, what causes this type of response? It's an early activation of an enzyme that causes the pancreas to start actually digesting itself. It can't be determined as to why it does that, but most of the time they believe that it comes from a fatty diet. You're probably wondering, well, why would you feed your dog so poorly? Truth is, I didn't know. There's lack of knowledge about what ingredients are good and bad for your dog. I thought I was doing right by her by getting her a popular brand of dog food, but it turns out that it was causing her more harm than good. Ingredients in a lot of dog foods are actually terrible for your dog. So I recommend that you definitely talk with your vet about what foods are healthy for your dog to kind of avoid the situation altogether. You don't want to be put in this predicament if you can avoid it, so I would definitely figure out which dog food is best for your dog. Lastly, how do you fight pancreatitis if your dog gets pancreatitis? First and foremost, and most important, you're going to want to take your dog to the vet to get IV treatments. They're not going to want to eat or drink, so they're not going to take their medication. They're not going to stay hydrated unless you give them fluids through an IV and medication through an IV. That helped her tremendously. I saw a huge improvement in her after that. Second, you're going to want to make changes at home. That means lots of exercise. Keep them moving. It really helps them stay healthy. And lastly, if your dog gets pancreatitis, it's recommended to put your dog on a prescription diet for the rest of their life. I have her on the Royal Canine diet. Her doctor has to write out the prescription, but so far we haven't had any problems out of it, so hopefully it keeps things at bay. Probably the most important thing, though, to help them fight, other than the IV being the most important, is TLC. Give them a reason to fight. Give them lots of attention, hugs, kisses, whatever they need. Give them a reason to stay. In conclusion, pancreatitis in dogs is more common than people realize. It's important to know what it is, what causes it, and how to fight it. You just may save a life.